Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you all are doing fine. And as always, I'm Arista, and this video will be setting off a small series where I will be taking characters from different universes and putting them into a different storyline, like Marvel characters in the Assassin's Creed storyline. And this whole series has been influenced to me by a famous YouTube artist by the name Popcross Studios. Do check him out, link in the description below, and let's see how this goes.
Our first story takes place during the American Revolutionary War, where all 13 colonies banded together, forming what is now called the United States of America, to rebel against the British armies. All men from all colonies volunteered to fight in this battle, and among these brave young men was Steve Rogers. But he was constantly rejected from the camps that he enlisted to due to his lack of strength and health. But Steve never gave up. He would time to time visit the camps to at least find ways to attempt to help out. His sheer willpower and courage never once faded. This caught the attention of Dr. Abram Erskine, who was once a British scientist that betrayed the British Templars' desire to maintain peace all over the land by capturing and ruling them all. Dr. Abram, now a valued asset to the Assassins' Brotherhood of the Colonies, who also happened to be the head scientist of a special experimental program, one which uses a piece of the apple stolen from the Templars and used to harness the energy to attempt to enhance the physical strength of soldiers, claimed that Steve Rogers was the best person for this procedure. He revealed to Steve the experiment that he will undergo and the risks that could fall after. Steve got on board without any doubt. Soon after, was injected with a special serum, exposed to the apple, and he emerged from the experiment taller and muscular. With the knowledge of being a military soldier and by learning the ways of the Assassin's Creed, Steve Rogers was a huge asset in the fight against the British Templars. He was also given a special shield made with a rare metal almost similar to the apple. On one fateful day, while investigating the assassination of dear Dr. Abram, Steve followed up the leads that led him to a group of British Templar scientists. He was too late to stop a plane that was taking off on a suicide bomb run to the United States. Steve managed to climb aboard the aircraft in the hope of defusing and landing it safely, but during the fight inside, found out that there was no way to land the plane without the risk of detonating the bombs. Therefore, he radioed his camp, updated them of the situation as he manually drove the plane away from the colonies and crashed it into the Arctic. For days, the army searched the Arctic for the plane and Steve Rogers, but they never found a single trace. The army was devastated by the loss of a great soldier and a courageous brother. To honor the memory of the fallen brother, they called him Captain America, but little that they knew that Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, wasn't just dead yet. Our next story takes us to a mysterious hero. No one knows where he came from, and the mystery being the fact that neither does he. He only recalls running away from someone through the woods and ending up in the alley next to a bar. His hands were bolstered with metal gloves which had long retractable claws, dripping of blood, but the blood wasn't his. He wore a coat that resembled the attire of the Brotherhood, and a chain with the name James Howlett. However, he wasn't from the local Brotherhood. When the Brotherhood members came, none of them claimed to recognize him. They offered him to stay with him to help recover and rehabilitate him while he gets his memory back, but he refused to do so, preferred to be left alone. He would spend most of his days drinking in the bar. No one provoked him as they were scared of his wild rage and claws. With this fear came peace in the bar, which made the bartender more than happy to let James basically live there. And as time passed by, people started to see that James wasn't only a cold-hearted beast. He would look out for the people in danger, take down rival gangs, and stop crime in the area. And as weeks turned into months, stories spread across about his heroism. Stories like James teaching the young kids from what's right and what's wrong, teaching them how to defend themselves. One day, as the town was going about on its own, the earth beneath them started to shake. The blue skies turned black. The people knew that something bad was coming. The town bell started ringing out of rhythm. James looked out of the bar window and saw the assassins gearing up, heading to the gate, shouting, "Stay inside, do not come out. The Templars are here." Not a moment passed, the sky started raining with cannons of fire. The town wasn't ready for this. Half of the Brotherhood knocked out, people injured, the town lit on fire, and the cries of women rose louder and louder. James did what he could to shelter most of the families to safety, but he was done waiting. He saw the Templars coming into the town riding on horseback, shooting everyone on sight. And just as a couple of soldiers stopped to reload, James jumped through the window, roaring like a beast with his claws fully out, slicing the soldiers into pieces, and with a quick glance, looked around and sprinted towards the cornered assassins. And within seconds, every soldier that surrounded the assassins dropped dead. The assassins were terrified by the way the soldiers were slaughtered, but looked at James with relief. The assassins were glad that he was on their side. Together they turned the tide of the battle to their side and managed to drive off the soldiers with fear and a warning to never to come back. Thankfully, most of the families were inside and they survived with few injuries, but on that day, the town mourned the loss of their fallen brothers and families. Everyone was grateful to James for being there for them. He was praised as the Wolverine, for it was his beastly rage that saved them. And as time passed, he would join the Brotherhood, help new recruits, and even venture off with them, taking down Templar camps and anyone that opposed a threat to the town.
Natalia Romanov was born to a small town to a simple life. Life short-lived. Her town was attacked by the Nazis during the battle against Stalingrad in 1928. In the battle, the house her family lived in was set on fire, and out of desperation, Natalia's mother gave baby Natalia to a Russian soldier with the name Ivan Petrovich. After her mother dying in the fire, Ivan adopted and raised Natalia as his own adopted daughter, eventually training her to become a loyal Soviet to support the Templars' desires. Upon her training, Natalia proved to be quite a skilled fighter that led her to join the Covert Red Room facility, where she also went through various experiments, which made her biologically and technologically advanced. This gave her a long lifespan and a prolonged youthful look. Natalia became the Templars' elite agent, taking the name Black Widow. She was loyal to the Soviets, but the more missions she went on, the more she began to doubt the cause that she was fighting for. She would question and sometimes argue with her superiors about the mission objectives, but would end up being brainwashed with lies. However, the more active she was on the field, the more she began to grow a clear conscience. However, this change concerned the Templars. They worried if she continued down this path, she would definitely turn on them. Therefore, they decided to silence her. Soon, they would send Black Widow on a mission to locate and assassinate an archer, one that has been causing problems recently in the Templar strongholds across Russia. Usually, the Soviet would send her alone or with a team, but this time, she was assigned with another genetically enhanced commander, one that she knew but never got along with. Taskmaster, they called him, for there was no task that he failed and nothing that he couldn't imitate by just a look. Differences aside, together they managed to corner the mischievous archer, and with nowhere left to run, the archer was just a few steps away from falling off a cliff. He tried to fight his way through, but was easily pushed back to the edge. Taskmaster took his gun and was about to aim the final shot when suddenly Natalia jumped in front, kicked the archer in the stomach and pushed him off the cliff. The mission was accomplished, and as Natalia turned around to head back, bang! She was frozen, but she felt a burn in her stomach. She looked down and to see she was bleeding, and in front of her stood Taskmaster, blowing the smoke off his gun and waving her goodbye as he turned around while Natalia fell off the cliff. She was dead for all he knew, but what he didn't foresee was neither the archer nor Natalia were dead. How? Because just as she kicked the archer, she also attached a grappling hook which activated just as she kicked him off the cliff, and he's been hanging down there and even managed to catch Natalia. Hours later, Natalia woke up in a hospital, and beside her stood the archer. She was thankful for the archer for saving her, but the archer said, "No, it was you that saved both of us," and revealed that his name was Clint Barton, and this stoned a partnership of a lifetime. And that's it for this video. I have a few more designs coming up on the way, but they'll have to wait for now. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are the stories interesting? Are the designs good? If I had to rate my own art, I would have to say Captain America the first, second Black Widow, and then third Wolverine, because I didn't quite get the design and the color scheme that I wanted. So as always, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.